Okay, welcome. Thank you everyone for attending today. Just before we start the webinar, just a few housekeeping rules. All attendees will be on mute and will remain for the whole webinar. Please use the question box to ask any questions relating to the topic, and all questions will be answered after the demo. If we run out of time or if your question requires a longer answer, then the question will be answered offline directly. Use the chat box for questions related to the webinar, such as if you can't hear the audio or if the presenter is going too fast. But please note that a link to view the webinar recording will be sent to all the attendees after the demo. This is our monthly webinar on key areas of NAV and Business Central. You can sign up for as many as you like on our website. I'll show you the list of upcoming webinars at the end of this session. We also send out regular emails to register for the next one. My name is Dityana, also known as Deet, and I will be facilitating the demo today. I'm an account manager here at T-Vision, and I've worked at T-Vision for 2.5 years, and my background is 18 years IT sales, marketing, and partner management. Ian will be doing the demo today, and he's a support consultant at T-Vision. He's been working at T-Vision for nearly 4 years and has been using NAV since 2000. Okay, so today's webinar is about role centers, which is the main entry point into NAV Business Central. It is effectively a user's homepage showing KPIs and a role-specific navigation pane. Therefore, it is important that each role center's design is based on each user's business role, taking into consideration the information and tasks relevant to the users during a typical workday. By the end of the webinar, we hope you will understand how to effectively use the role centers to streamline your staff's day-to-day tasks. So these are the top 5 things we are going to show you today about role centers. Firstly, exploring and navigating pages per role. Business Central now has the Role Explorer. This allows you to see all the options available on all the role centers to make it easier for you to choose the one that is right for you. This will enable you to be more efficient in your day-to-day tasks. Secondly, display actionable insights in Role Center. Business Central finds interesting business facts in your company data and displays them as a newspaper-like headlines in role centers. If you want to take a closer look at an insight, you can click on it. For example, if it showed you the largest sales invoice, you can click on it and see the details. How to manage profiles and role centers. All users of Business Central can be assigned a profile that reflects their role. This gives them a starting point of what their screen will look like when they first log in. The end user can still customize this profile to suit their personal needs. If you're an administrator, you can create, change, manage, and assign profiles. Bookmark a link to a page or a report when you're on your role center. Using the bookmark icon, you can add an action that opens a page or report from the navigation menu of your role center. This lets you customize your menus and you can quickly reach your important content or business tasks. Sorting, searching, and filtering. The sorting makes it easy for you to get a quick overview of your data. If you have a lot of customers, for example, you can sort them alphabetically by name or from the largest to the smallest balance. This makes it easier for you to find information that you're looking for. Using the page search, you can quickly find the item you're interested in. This is a quick and easy way to reduce a long list to something more manageable. Filtering provides a more advanced and versatile way of controlling which records display on a list or are included in a report. Okay, so before the demo, we'd like to get an idea on how you use profiles or role centers in your business. So I'm just going to launch the poll. So if you wouldn't mind just submitting your answer, that would be great. Okay, a few more seconds. I can see them coming in. Okay, so it looks like that's interesting. Yeah, that most of you have selected. Everyone uses the default role center profiles, or so it looks like it's 50-50. Each user is assigned a suitable profile or role center. Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that. So hopefully the demo will help you take that to the next level. So now I will hand you over to Ian to do the demo. Over to you, Ian.
Right, thanks, Dietz. Okay, guys, today we're talking about role centers. So if you're used to Nav, and I say role centers, you probably know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this home screen that you get when you log into the system. Microsoft seems to be changing their language around this, and they're starting to call this your profile. So they're using pretty much interchangeably at the moment role center, profile, or role, all three words. They're actually talking about what your screen looks like when you log in. So first up, I'm using the latest version of Business Central. This is out of the box, so there's nothing on here extra. This is what you would get on your first install. One of the nice features that's been added on Business Central, wasn't available on Nav, is the Role Explorer. So I'm logged in here. I'm not sure if I'm logged in as an accountant or a business manager or something like that. They've now given us this button here, the Role Explorer. And if I click on this, it takes me through, okay, I'm logged in as the business manager. And this is showing me all the menu options that are available on my home screen. So from that home screen that we were just looking at, these are all the actions that I should be able to find. Finance, cash management, sales, etc. And if we go back and have a look, it does make sense. There's my finance, cash management, sales, purchasing, setup, etc. with those same options inside those menus. So that's what it's showing me. If I want to get to something, I don't want to start clicking through the menus up here. I can use my Role Explorer. It's like expanding all of my menu options. I can see everything and I can click from here. It works the same as my home page. But one of the nice things about this, I can also explore other people's roles. So I've been given business manager, and perhaps it's not a nice fit for me. I'm seeing things on my screen that, yeah, I like the financy stuff, but that sales stuff means nothing to me. Maybe there's a better role that I could use. So if I click on Explore All, this shows me all the different roles that are available on my system. There's a manufacturing role, a sales and marketing role, finance role, an administration role. I can have a look through them and I can see what menu options they have. So just out of interest, if I look at this purchasing role, I can explore this one. These are all the menu options that somebody with the purchasing role would get. And I can still click on these items here. They might not be on my home menu, but as long as I'm allowed to go and look at units of measure, I can click on that and it will take me through to units of measure. It still works for me. If I have a look here and I find something that looks, oh, that's a nicer fit for me than what I'm currently using, I can, from my home screen, pretty much from any screen actually, but we'll do it from my home screen, I can change my settings. So I can go to my settings button, and instead of having the role of business manager, I can choose one of these other roles. And if I took manufacturing manager for argument's sake, and I said, okay, my home screen would change to a screen more suitable for a manufacturing manager. There we go, now it's talking about production orders and planning and warehouse management and things like that. And the financy stuff, that's disappeared. So I can myself, without having to ask an administrator, or a super user change the look and feel of my home screen by choosing a different one. And again, once I'm on my home screen, we come to this whole idea of actionable insights. So this is the home screen for the manufacturing guys. It talks about production orders, planning, warehousing, operations, things like this. Things that would be important to someone in manufacturing. And everything that you see on this screen underneath the menus, everything below there, it's actionable insights. So if I see any numbers in here, if I looked at planned production orders, if there was a number there, I could drill on that number and get down and see those production orders and decide what to do about them. Now this one's full of zeros, so let's move back to one that we know has nice information in it. I'll go back to my settings and I can change as many times as I want. I'll go back to be the business manager. That looked like a nice role center. And we can see some of these tiles, how they work. So on the business manager's home screen, it gives me some headline information. Again, you can click through on any of this and every tile tells me something. So instead of having to log on to the system, go and check the sales quotes, go and check the sales orders, go and check the sales invoices, go and check the purchase orders, purchase invoices, log on to the payments, check those. It brings it all to me on one line and I can see how many documents of each type there are. And I can see 2, 4, 9. I'm happy with these numbers. I expect them. Ooh, outstanding vendor invoices is at 14. Something needs my attention here. I can click on that number. It takes me through. I can deal with what I'm seeing. Chase someone to process their payments or whatever needs to happen. So everything I see is an actionable insight. Emails that I'm sending, approvals that I have to do, timesheets that I must submit and approve. And this is fully customizable. So if there's something on here that means nothing to me, I want to take it off, I can do so. Or if there's something missing, I can add it on myself. And I would do that by going up to the Personalize button on my settings. And you will notice my screen changes slightly. I've got this menu bar at the top. And when I hover over something, I start getting these little red arrows appearing. So let's say on this payments section, I'm not interested in this average days collection. I can hit the little arrow next to it and I can say, yep, hide this bit from me, please. It's gone. I can scroll down a little bit further. I can hide an entire section if I wanted to. I can hide this. I could move this and drag it and drop it somewhere else. I notice that there are some things here grayed out. So they're available to me, but they are not being shown. So if this is of interest to me, I can select it and I can show it. And again, I can move things around. I can make my home screen look the way that I want it to look. I can customize it so that I see the things I am interested in. So I'm going to click done. I've only made one change. I just took away the number of days of debt. And there it is. I've got a screen that makes more sense to me and it's easier for me to use and lets me get my job done quicker. But what about from the other end? What if I'm an administrator and I want to make sure that my users are getting the best role centers that they can get to do their jobs? So there are quite a few tools on the system that as an administrator I can use. So if I go up here and if I search for role center, and this is where we see the language that Microsoft is starting to change. The first thing that pops up is profiles or roles. It's what we used to call role centers. That's what they're calling it now. So I can go into profiles, and this is a list of all the profiles that are available on my system. While I'm in here, I can look at any of them, and let's have a look at this Human resources, that sounds interesting. If I have a look at this, yeah, it gives me some names. It tells me whether this is enabled for people to choose it, if it will show up in the Role Explorer. Remember, that's those three little lines that we see up on the home screen. Whether this is the default profile for people who don't have one set. What do they get by default? They don't get human resources. And I can disable personalization to stop users with this profile from changing things if I wanted to. So this is an interesting profile perhaps, but I want to tweak it a little bit. I've seen what it looks like. I've tried it myself. I want to change the way it looks. I can go to this profile and customize it myself as an administrator. You'll notice it's opened a second tab up here. So now I'm logging onto the system with human resources, and there's really nothing on this menu except for employees and setup. What I can do while I'm in here, I can choose to add fields. I can go to any of these menu options. I can open them. Once it's open, I can change the way that it looks here. So I'll change it to a list view. I'll change the columns, etc. I'll make all the changes to this profile that I want to make, and then I will say done. It's completed my customization. I can close that. I'm back here. Now I've got a human resources role center that's been customized a little bit when I give it to my employees. What I can also do, I can copy an existing profile, and the copy I can change, and I can leave the original here. So I might have a finance profile that allows me to personalize it. I might have a second finance profile which doesn't allow personalization. So when the auditors come in, I give them that second one that they only get what I want them to have, and they can't personalize anything. So I can set up profiles, I can change them, I can create new ones, I can manage profiles in that way. What I can also do is manage my users and which profile they are getting, and that is under user personalization. So user personalizations, I can see these are the users who log into my system. This is the profile that they get when they log in. So everybody's logging in as a business manager, except poor old Andrea. He's going to log in as an order processor. So I can go and assign and say this person over here called Ian. That's not me, by the way. I'm logged in as demo admin. So Ian over there, I want to change them. When Ian logs in, I want him to log in with inventory manager or something else. I can choose which language he gets. I know that that's English, United Kingdom. Usually English or English is what's chosen here. But if Ian was French, I could give him a screen in French. Then when he logged in, all those menu options would change to French. And which company does he get to see by default? I can change that here as well. So I can set up for Ian which profile he gets. It could be one of those profiles that I've created. It doesn't have to be an out-of-the-box profile. And what I can also do, if I have allowed people to customize their profiles and it's got to be a bit of a mess, I can come up and again, I can talk about user personalizations, and there is a list of personalized pages. So I can see on this system, that's me, demo admin, I have personalized all of these screens in some way. I've added columns or taken columns away or changed the order or something. I can see that this Ian character, he's changed the way that he sees his contacts. If he's messed it up somehow and he can't get it back to the way it should be, I can actually manage that for him and I can delete his customization. So that the next time Ian logs in now, he's back to the default view of whatever he should be seeing rather than what he's customizing. So within that management, we've created roles, we modified a role, we assign a role to a user, we can change which roles users have, and we can clear up the customizations of the way they've made their screens look if we need to. Another way that either an end user can customize his own page, or as an admin, if you were customizing a role center for someone else, you could find something that's not on your menus. So here I have nothing to do with jobs in any of my menu options up here. I go and find jobs either through the Role Explorer over there or through the search here. I find jobs. Yep, this is the screen. I want a shortcut to this screen. It should be on my menus. I can bookmark this screen. The moment I go back to my home screen, jobs has now appeared as a shortcut option up here. And if there's something up here that I don't want to see, chart of accounts perhaps is not something I want to look at, I can, from the chart of accounts page, turn off the bookmark. And now it will disappear from my menus when I go back to my home screen. Chart of accounts is gone, now jobs is there. So I can customize the way my menus are laid out as well as what's laid out down here. And as an admin, I can do that for a profile as well. And then pretty much the last thing I want to speak to you about, your role center doesn't just govern this home page, it covers all the pages behind this. So if I go and look at my items, I am seeing the items the way that a business manager looks at items by default on my system. I can customize this page myself. When I go out, it saves my customizations. As an admin, I can customize this and it will save it for everybody in the company. If I'm just doing it not as an admin, I'm doing it only for myself. So within this page, there are lots of things I can do. I can personalize this page, add columns, change the order of columns, for instance. That will be remembered next time I log in. What I can also do, I think Dietz was mentioning, if you've got a long list, you can change the way that the list appears. So by default, it's ordered by item number. I can go and order it by description instead if I want to, either ascending or descending. I could arrange it by unit cost from the most expensive to the least expensive, or vice versa. I can make this look any way I want it to look. So I've got this list of information. I'm looking for something. I know it's got Athens in the title, but I'm not quite sure. I have my page search option up here. I just start typing what it is I'm looking for. That's good enough. I can see everything that has Athens in its title. And the final, most advanced way I can change the way that this looks, let me turn that off. I can use the filters. So here are my filters here. If you don't see the filters, you can turn them on by pressing the filter button. And let's say I just want to show all of the items here that have a W in the item number. Perhaps I'm in charge of those items and I'm really interested in seeing them. So I can say where the item number starts with anything and it has a W in it somewhere. And now I'm only seeing items with W in the title. So that's a nice, easy way of chopping down my list. And look what I can do. I can save this view. So I can call this my W items. It is now saved. The next time I come in to look on the inventory page, I am going to have the option of either showing all, the default, which shows all of the items, or I would have my filtered view where I could see only the W items. So especially if I've got a nice complicated filter on there, you know, all the items with the W where the cost is more than 5,000 and the stock is greater than 0 and it's in pieces or bottles, I can save that so that next time I just click on this. And this is also stored with my profile. It's always there for me. And as an administrator, if I put it there for the profile, it's there for everybody who uses that profile. And finally, just because I want to steal a little bit of thunder, don't forget this search button up here. Microsoft called it the Tell Me button. Whenever you're looking for something on the system, without using any kind of personalization, simply, what is it that you're looking for? If you're looking for jobs, type jobs. If you're looking to find out how do you depreciate fixed assets, how to depreciate fixed asset, you can ask the question. And that will even give you help pages where you can understand how revaluing fixed assets, depreciating fixed assets works within the system. And it takes you to any page that you're allowed to see on the system. Okay, so don't forget that Tell Me button is really important. Okay, while we were busy, Deets, did any questions come in?
Yeah, thanks, Ian. Yes, there was a couple of questions. But if anyone has got any questions from the demo, if you can just submit them now using the question box, give you a few seconds to do that. But during the demo, we did have a few questions, Ian, so that came in for you. Does Microsoft release new role centers?
That's actually a very good question. Microsoft can release new role centers, and they do tweak the role centers, and there's nothing to stop Microsoft creating new role centers in the future. So as they add new functionality to the system, they will probably add a new role center to go with that functionality. But as I said, if you can't find the role center that suits you, or you're an admin and you can't find a role center that suits your employees, you can always take an existing one, make a copy, and turn it into your own, and that might even be better than something that Microsoft releases. But if they do release them, you will see them if you go into the search for role centers or search for profiles, and you will be able to see them.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Another one, I don't want my users to change their role centers. They might see something they're not supposed to see, and can I stop them?
Okay, yeah. Now, I have heard this question before. It's always a worry that perhaps you've got some confidential information, you don't want your users to get to it. And with some other software systems, the way you manage that is you hide those menu options from the user, so they just can't get to that information. That's not the logic that Business Central uses. So Business Central, I can see all of the menu options, but it's not my profile or my role center that lets me see things and stops me seeing things. That's my user profile. So when you set up a user, you say this user is allowed to post journals. This user is allowed to raise purchase orders. This user's got no access to the general ledger, for example. Their role center here, it might have an option for chart of accounts for some reason. If they clicked on it, they just get an error message. Oh, sorry, page must close, you're not allowed to see this. So you don't manage their access by managing their profile or their role center, you manage their access by managing the user profile. And remember, if you don't want your users to fiddle with these role centers, there was an option where you can turn on and off personalization when we drilled into the role centers, so you can always play with that.
Okay. Do we have time for one more?
There is a question there about changing the default. I'll tell you what, I'm not sure exactly what the answer is. So the question was, if a user changes their role center, how does the administrator know? Is there an automatic change alert, or does it have to be manually set? To be honest, the one place that you would see that is in the user personalization. So you don't get an alert to say that somebody's done this, but you could go and search for user personalization. Ooh, and I've spelled that very, very wrong. Still managed to find it. And I would see here that Ian is logging in as shipping and receiving. If he changed that, I would see that changed here. If he changed himself to an order processor, I would see order processing here. So I can go and investigate myself, but there's nothing that pops up an error message to me that says somebody's fiddling. I see there's a couple of questions that are coming in, Deeps. We're not going to be able to get through all of these.
Quite a few.
I'll send some emails.
Yeah, we will respond to your other questions after the webinar. So thank you. Okay, so we'd like to leave you with some key takeaways, which we hope will assist you. That's exploring existing role centers. So you can start by exploring alternative role centers yourself by trying to change role centers in My Settings. You can easily test existing roles to see which role center suits you best. If you want to build customized role centers, you can benefit by originating from one of the existing ones in order to save time. Actionable insights. You can customize your homepage to look the way you want to show you the information you're interested in when you log in. This gives you actionable insights you can act upon straight away. Managing your profiles and role centers. If you're an administrator, you can assign your users a suitable default profile, and if there is nothing suitable, you can always create a bespoke profile. Bookmark. If there is a page in Business Central you need to get to regularly, but it's not on your role center, then you can add a bookmark. Sorting, searching, and filtering. If you have a long list, you can use the sort, search, and filtering capabilities to make it more manageable, and remember that you can save that view. And as always, if you would like some help with anything that we have covered today, please do contact us. We hope you found this webinar interesting and informative. We shall be sending out emails soon to register for the next one, and we shall also put a reminder about the webinar in our newsletter as well. Thank you for attending the webinar. Once I close the session, a survey will appear. It would be great if you could respond with some feedback. If you do have any further questions, please feel free to email them to me at marketing@tvisiontech.co.uk. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye.